Hello, hello, Soul Flow fam. Welcome to another episode here at the Soul Flow podcast.
Soul Flow, Soul Flow.
Stephanie here, and I am one of your co-hosts. Joining me today are my amazing co-hosts, Kelly.
Hi.
Raquel.
Hi.
Aisha. And Josie, who just got a new car. So she's in the background.
Yay! Hi, everyone.
Congrats, Josie, by the way.
Thank
Blue
you.
moon manifestation coming in.
Yes.
All right, today we will be getting to know the warrior herself, Raquel, on a more soul level. And we'll be diving deeper into her story. Raquel, I know you endured a lot. And you're a true warrior.
Thank you, Steph, for the kind words. It's certainly been a journey. Sometimes I feel like I feel much older than what I actually am, just for all the things that I've gone through. But they have certainly brought me here, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
I can't wait to dive into your story. I know you've been through a lot. So, but before we get down to all the juiciness, I want to ask you, ladies. Kelly, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you, Aisha?
Highly blessed and favored. Raquel, how are you feeling? You're the star of our show tonight.
Thank you, Aisha. I'm feeling great. This week has been truly a transforming week. I'm so connected to the moon, so this week is really special for me, which just gets better. Closing it with this podcast episode. Couldn't be more excited. So can't stop saying excited. How are you doing, Josie? You just got a new car. How's that new car smell?
Oh my gosh, it's so amazing. I'm just so happy. I could just feel it in my body that I was gonna have it today. I could just feel it, but I have been waiting, and I feel like I am being blessed in this very moment for being patient. So yes, and the new car smell, hopefully it lasts a long time. So I am excited as Steph, our host today. How are you doing?
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I feel super grateful to be here. Just to share the space and get to know the warrior even deeper and dive into her story. And I just, I'm feeling really centered, really, I feel like I'm dancing on the inside too. All right. You ready to get into it? Raquel?
Let's do it.
You ready to converse?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. Well, I want to start with our famous question. What makes your soul flow?
And that's such an important question for me, especially considering where I came from. I think the most important thing for me in my life is certainly following my intuition. That's what's brought me here. That's what's brought everything that's good in my life, following my heart and my intuition. I certainly have a soft spot for my friends. So that's kind of my nurture side. I love nurturing my friends. I love feeding them, just taking care of them and nurturing those relationships really. And I love just diving really, really deep into my own mind and exploring the depths of it and its boundaries too, like what I'm capable of, what I can do with my own mind. It's always amazed me. I feel like that's what I'm here to do. That's what my soul has come to earth this time to learn and do and feel.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Okay.
Sorry. Okay. Damn, the giggles.
Oh my God, I can't.
I love it.
I can't. Because you're literally glowing. I'm like, okay, we're gonna...
She is glowing.
The ring light.
Kelly, can you ask a question?
Sure. Right.
Get us on
ready?
track.
Yeah.
So Raquel, as Stephanie mentioned in your introduction, in your beautiful introduction, actually, you've been through a lot. And I'm sure in all of that muchness that you experienced, if I had to guess, there's probably more than one moment. But can you share with us what one of the more defining moments was in your journey, and how you dealt with that and what that brought you to?
Absolutely, Kelly. Thank you for the question. It was definitely a long journey. I think that in a way, I always knew that I was meant for more. But growing up, somehow I assumed that everyone was. I assumed that that's what everyone wanted. I assumed that's how everyone felt, because that's how I felt. And as much as an outsider that I was, I didn't actually feel like an outsider somehow. I just felt like other people felt this way as well. And it wasn't until I saw me repeating the patterns that I so deeply didn't want to repeat that I said, okay, this is not the route I want to take. I need to, something needs to change. And then I've always been an observer. I've always watched more than talked. So I just, took time. It took a lot of trial. It took a lot of trial and error, I should say, to figure out what was the wrong path, like what I was doing wrong or what I needed to change to get back into the flow, really, because I did experience that in parts of my life, although as tumultuous as it was, and kind of chaotic, but I did experience flow, and I hung on to that feeling. It's the biggest truth I've ever experienced, I should say, in my body and mind and soul. It's just, it just felt that strong. I couldn't let it go. So it kind of became an obsession for me in a way, that I needed to grow out of it. So I sought help anywhere I could. Of course, I, sought doctors, and that didn't go anywhere really quickly, because they looked at me as, a 20-year-old. This started, by the way, after I got married, as a 20-year-old. And they just looked at me like, no, there's nothing wrong with you, like you're depressed. And I said, no, I'm definitely not depressed. There's something else wrong with me. And, I started kind of going down more natural paths, and even that still didn't really get anywhere. Because it needed to come from inside of me. It wasn't going to come from outside of me, right? And after my divorce, I was married for 6 years. And after my divorce, I just needed to find myself again. I had lost everything. I grew up in a very strict religion. I was a Jehovah's Witness growing up. And that meant that when I left my marriage, I also left the religion, or I got kicked out, really. And that meant that also my family, my whole mother's side of the family, who are also Jehovah's Witnesses, didn't talk to me anymore. So that was sort of a trial, because it's a very tight-knit community. They kind of stay within their own group. So I didn't really have friends, or, I knew people at work, but I didn't really have friends outside of that community. And when all of a sudden I lost not only that community, but also my family, I had to find myself again. I had to find my tribe. And that definitely took years and a lot of struggle. But certainly the thing that I've always enjoyed the most doing is talking to people and hearing their different perspectives and just expanding my mind. I've always been very aware that it's not one way. Even though I grew up in such a strict religion, I was always very aware that it's not just one way. It's not just black and white. It's not that simple. Different people have different emotions, and you can't, like, a lot of these religions, sometimes they negate emotion completely, and you can't do that. It's part of what we are as humans, and it's a very important part because it dictates a lot without us even noticing, right? So I've always really enjoyed listening to other perspectives and kind of expanding my world that way. And after I got divorced, I just kind of dove into, whatever I could do. Like, I kind of went to like the wildest thing I could possibly do, right? Like, so my ex-husband was my first relationship, growing up in a really small town in this religion. So I kind of grew up under a rock. And all of a sudden I find myself divorced in a major city like Houston, Texas, meeting, these people that are all over the place, like from all kinds of walks of life and personalities and you name it, different, backgrounds, different social statuses. And as soon as I got divorced, I found myself, needing to get a second job. My dental assistant career didn't exactly support me, fully at the time. And I really don't know exactly what happened. I decided to get myself, I needed a night job, right? So I went and got a job at a strip club, waiting tables, right? That was like the complete opposite. I just went far.
From one pendulum to the other.
Absolutely. They held me really, really tight. So when I sprung, I went far. Yeah, I see it, honestly. Like, they were like,
I love that analogy.
I'm curious, Raquel, how was that experience working at a strip club?
So really, really interesting, really, really eye-opening. To the fact that like my own family, the people that I had grown up with, the people that I trusted, they turned their backs on me. And all of a sudden, these people that were even looked down by society, they extended their, hands or their arms to me, and they were kind to me. There was one night where we stayed after hours, and there was a lot of drinking, of course, and I hadn't done drinking in a really long time. My ex-husband kept me kind of isolated from the world, and I just remember the manager of the club, tapping my shoulder, Raquel, I'm going to take you home, let's go, and asking me for my address, but I had just moved, so I couldn't tell him my address, right? And it was kind of like, I remember just spitting out the address, but it was like the street was like Shadow Creek Lane. And I just kept saying Shadow Lane. So of course they couldn't find it. So the next morning I wake up on a stripper's couch. A stripper took me to her house. I had all my money on me. I had all my clothes on me. I was on a couch with a blanket on top of me. And I just realized that no human on earth deserves to judge another human, no matter what. And that's kind of when my journey started to really open my mind to bigger things. And of course, that was 2012, 2013. It's been a journey for sure.
Wow. I could already see this episode's title. A stripper took me home. Oh my Lord. That would catch people's attention. I'm curious, Raquel, because I feel like I've had similar experience of coming from a really religious, strict background to opening up to other spirituality. Like, what was your journey of finding spirituality again that was, I don't know, separate from your religion or in a new way or combination of both, perhaps? Right.
Curious. So it was more of forgetting all of the programming from the religion. Unlearning, absolutely. Because I was born into it. So, I didn't know anything else. And, as I started opening my mind, I was still, because there was a lot of hold on, I lost it. You asked me about, because I still kind of believed it, right? So I didn't completely let it go, even though I had completely let go of the organized religion as a whole. I still held certain beliefs, like to the Bible kind of thing, right? And as I decided that I couldn't, it was holding me back from everything, because I couldn't allow myself to open my mind enough to receive other input or to receive other information. So the first step was definitely unlearning everything, kind of forgetting everything, and realizing that it wasn't exactly as they said it was, and realizing the mechanisms that were truly behind it. And that took a lot of time because I didn't want anybody else's opinion. I didn't want to follow anybody. That was the whole reason why I left. I wanted to do this for myself. I wanted to follow my own intuition and follow what felt right to me. And it just happened that after taking about a year and a half hiatus, if you call it, from Instagram or from social media in general, coming back, one of the first things I found was Ayurveda, which healed a great part of me. And with finding Ayurveda, I found Sahara Rose, which brought us all together. And Sahara has a very unique way to just bring it to a very human level and to just explain that, like, oh my God. It's not that serious. It is not supposed to be that rigid. It's a part of each and every one of us. It's deeper than just learning. It's more about feeling
and living.
Deeper than deep.
Embodying.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And that was actually something I found really interesting this week when we had the full moon. I'm going through a lot of things at work, transitioning out of it, the stress and the challenges with, a slightly stressful environment, little toxicity, as a lot of workplaces have. And I was outside with my feet on the ground and my hands in front of my chest and just feeling the light of the moon on me. I'm very, very influenced by the moon. I have always been very, very connected to it. My cycles is 90% of the time synced with it. And all of a sudden, when I opened my eyes, I was just kind of focusing on all of the things that I wanted to manifest and all of the things that I wanted to cleanse and really open space for.
Oh, sorry, guys. Door just closed and scared the shit out of me. I'm so sorry.
We couldn't hear anything.
Oh my God, but I physically jumped. Okay, continue.
And I was really trying to feel what I wanted to embody for the next few months and the rest of this year. And when I opened my eyes, I wasn't the way I started anymore. I started with my hands kind of together in front of my chest and I was dancing and I was just kind of flowing and moving my arms. And I immediately thought of Sahara, of course, and I felt like I was being moved by spirit. I didn't feel like the movements were mine. I was just kind of flowing with such fluidity and without any judgment of myself, without any criticism. It was beautiful. I really had a great experience.
Without resistance, right? When we flow, it's just
surrender. Just let it happen. And that has certainly been the lesson for me this year is just sit the F down and let it happen for once, without trying to control anything and we're not in control. That's the biggest illusion that Idetics helped me to break was that we are not in control of any of this. We have free will and we can make our own choices, but we're not in control of what happens to us, And the beauty comes in when we are in touch with ourselves enough that we can just trust our intuition to let us make the right decision every time without having to worry about it. Right?
So I'm curious, Raquel, how does that feel? Like for me, I'm still trying to be more in flow and not so like everything has to be structured. And so with you, how does, I'm sure a lot of listeners can relate to this, like finding your flow, being in flow and being more embodied. Like, how does that feel? And how do you know when you're embodying that? And how do you trust that your intuition, and that your intuition's like guiding you?
It's definitely signs. I pay attention to the signs. When this is something also that Idetics kind of taught me is that for me, and I understand that everybody is different in this way, but for me, the first thing that comes to my mind, that's my intuition. So it doesn't matter. That's so fast. So like, oh, you didn't think about that. Just trust it. With trust comes taking risks, right? And a little bit of courage. With, I think, kind of fuels my warrior side. My life has just kind of been unpredictable, always. I've never really been able to tell what I was going to be doing a month from now. And that kind of helped me, in a way, stay in the moment. Of course, I struggle, with worrying about the past, but it's helped me kind of stay in the moment and just fight the hurdles and fight the fights, fight the battles as they come, and listen to what comes then, listen to my body. How does my body feel? I'm not really a person that has the luxury of controlling what I feel. And all my friends knows this. It's not like I'm not a person that's able to fake anything. If I don't like you, you're kind of going to see it in my face. I apologize.
It's okay. We like it real here.
Yeah.
We keep it real raw.
And that's the beauty, right? That's the magic of when you find your tribe, when you find people that you really click with, it blows it out of the water. It starts multiplying and adding upon itself. And it's really cool. It's a really cool experience. But as far as staying in the flow, Steph, it's really just about trusting and paying attention to the signals. It's almost like I take a step back from my own life and I'm just kind of watching it play out. And I'm like, okay, well, that's what I was doing. And this is what's doing. Okay, well, this happened. Okay, that means that I was on the right track. And this feels really good. And this feels really whole with my own spirit. I don't have a question about it. I don't feel guilty or worried about the future. I just trust it. It really is just about trust. And I'm not going to tell you that this was something that, it's a gift I have, or, this is how I did it, Steph. No, it was kind of forced on me, like I never really knew what was going to happen. Like when I moved to the States, I was there 1 week. And then 2 weeks later, I was here. When I moved to Texas, it was the same thing. I was in New Jersey 1 week. And then the next thing you know, I was here. Things just happen and I respond and I flow that way. It's kind of like, I like to think of a running stream flowing kind of through rocks and obstacles and it doesn't stop. It doesn't care that it just flew over a rock or had to bypass a tree or had kind of a low spot that it had to go really, really slow. Just flows, just keeps going no matter what.
So it sounds like you were operating more from like the neck down, from like heart space, from your gut, from your intuition, more than the neck up, like our actual head space.
I think there's certainly a mixture for me. I do get a lot of downloads, and I'm certainly an eidetic person, like a visual person. But I definitely integrate it from my body and starting to learn about human design. I'm a generator from what I understand. And that is literally where I feel my intuitive hits. It's at the base of my spine. It's like a little tiny shock, like a little light switch. It goes boop, and okay, this is what I need to do now. And I just know, and I can't explain it ever. And I follow it and it takes me where I need to go.
So Raquel, what would you tell your present self tell your past self if you could go back in time?
I would have told myself progress over perfection a long time ago. I used to be so proud of my perfectionism, so growing up, that was kind of just how you were expected to do things, like 50 points above perfect. That's just how things were, and I would have done a lot more, I think, if I hadn't overthought so much. If I had second guessed myself so much, if I had just done it and then dealt with it, and gone from there. But the pitta runs high.
Vata.
Yeah.
And for our listeners, we'll be going into the different dosha energies.
Yeah.
Vata, Pitta, and Kapha.
I'm predominantly Pitta. I'm about 60% Pitta, and I have about 25% Vata and 15 Kapha.
Interesting.
That's a nice blend.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, Raquel, I heard you say you felt so different Can you explain or tell our listeners more about your background, where you grew up, where are you from?
Absolutely. So I was actually born in New Jersey, but I went to Brazil when I was 2. And I lived most of my life there from 2 to 19, except for 2 years. Wow. At age 5 and 12, I lived in New Jersey again for a year at a time. But I certainly, like, Portuguese was my first language, I certainly identify as a Brazilian. That's the culture I, hold closely to my heart. And I grew up in a very small town in the middle of Brazil, like about in the southeast of Brazil. So kind of in that area where, of São Paulo and Rio, but about 8 hours away from Rio inland. So very, very much old school and kind of rural community, a dairy farm community, actually. So lots of dairy, lots of cheese, lots of anything.
Interesting.
Yeah. Love. I loved growing up there,
Oh.
But of course, it also came with its challenges, especially as I started kind of growing up and becoming a teenager. I was kind of bored, So then I moved to another town in Brazil as well. And then I finished high school there. And then from there, I came to the States, to New Jersey at first. And I was there for 5 years, where I started dental assisting, where I met my ex-husband. And then I came to Texas, where I have found my home. I really love Texas.
I really liked Texas too.
Yeah. But
do you have a lot of family growing up?
I did, actually, which, considering I'm not close with any of them, kind of sucks, because I did value family. But I learned that you can choose family as well. You have close friends, like I have my podcast hosts now, and many of the people that I have, many other relationships that I have cultivated over, the years, that are just as close as family to me now, and that I would do anything for them. And I know that they would do anything for me. And to be completely honest, that's more than I can say about my own family, my own blood. So unpopular opinion.
Can't have it all. You can't have it all, but you can come pretty close.
I am completely fine with being the rainbow sheep, as I like to call it, coming here to break all the cycles and say no, hell no to everything. And hey, listen, if anybody wants to follow me from my family, come on, I'll show you the ropes. But
you being a big guiding sister.
Yeah. I mean, like, my family has had, it's not fun stuff. It's like my mother's side of the family is riddled with mental health issues, and like to the point of many, many suicides in my family. I was always very aware that I didn't want to go that route. We have a little bit of a history of like people on the spectrum, if you will. I've never been tested formally, but I have done, the quiz that they do in person, but I have done it online. And I got like 45 out of 50 saying that I am on the spectrum, so I think sometimes that kind of explains part of the challenges and part of why some people in my family just couldn't make it cohesive enough for them to, they just couldn't break it out,
It was a different time too.
Absolutely.
Before we had all of these identifications and even the understanding that it is a spectrum, right? It was like, if you exhibited anything that was of neurodivergency, you were, disabled. You were sent away to not be seen ever again in a lot of cases.
And it also makes sense why a lot of the more high functioning people on the spectrum, especially women, have learned to mask so much, because there really wasn't a space. It wasn't exactly safe for us to come out that way. But with your own, with my own self-work, I came to find out that that's my secret sauce. Literally, that's what it's what makes me see everything that I see that others don't. It's what makes me feel all the things that others don't, right? It comes with, its downsides, like the social anxiety that I have experienced that was not fun, or, the sensory overload that is on a daily basis, But with time, you learn how to counteract that, or how to use your, spiritual hygiene, your mental hygiene, everything. And how to function better and how to use all of those things to your benefit. Yeah. It's definitely been an acceptance journey.
What would you say, Raquel, would be your greatest self-work?
Before answering that, I just wanted to say thank you so much for being so vulnerable with us, Raquel. Like, it just amazes me how willing we are, all of us, to come here and share our deepest, darkest secrets, our life stories, our struggles, so it can just, I don't know, so somebody out there doesn't feel alone if they're going through a similar thing. So
you hit it right on the money, Aisha. I think that's why we're here. I think that we are here to share our story. I think that we go through the things we go through so that we can help others, so that we can, create the space for others. And it's definitely something that we are losing very quickly. We have lost it already in the last, century or so, but especially in the last couple of decades, we have been losing community and the sense of touch, of being in touch with another human being this close. We're losing that. And I have no problem, even if I do end up oversharing. Listeners, I apologize.
There's no such thing as oversharing here, not on this platform.
If I can share something and help even just one person, my goal is done.
Your heart is so beautiful. It's so open, and
thank you, Steph.
Yeah,
no wonder you glow.
I know. I was gonna say you're glowing. You're glowing literally from head to toe. I mean, I can't see that far down.
Your glow.
But literally, I can only imagine. You're radiating from all over, girlfriend.
Thank you. Oh. You girls certainly bring it out in me for sure. You guys, in the little bit that we have been meeting and getting to know each other, I feel that my life has changed. My outlook on life has changed. I can't be more grateful.
I mean, it goes to show the power of sisterhood, of finding your tribe, and really, being in a space of good energy. Okay? Like, energy is so infectious and can easily be transferred. And it goes to show each and every one of you, like, getting to know you ladies on a deeper level every single time. I mean, it's always good energy with us. And I feel like that's so important. It's so important to be around good energy and to find your tribe.
Absolutely.
And that's just showing up, right? It's not about being perfect, right? When you say good energy, I feel like a lot of people believe about like spirituality or like manifestation and working on yourself, self-development to be this like toxic positivity of like, we're perfect and everything's perfect. And as you can hear from Raquel's story, it's far from perfect. We are far from perfect, but we're here and we're trying to alchemize that pain into power.
That's what makes us humans. When we put it all out on the table, we can actually see it more clearly. We can actually make something different,
There's our Josie. Welcome.
Thank you.
So happy that you made it.
I listened to most of it. Some juicy, amazing stuff I heard, though, which is so fascinating. And I just love learning more about each and every one of you. And it's just exciting because I know that our listeners can connect as well. So good stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So, Raquel, what is next on the horizon for you?
Oh, very exciting times. I will be retiring from 18-year-long career in dentistry as of December, and just spending time really. Yeah. The third year of my eidetic certification is a case study, a project. So I'll be working on that. I have the client. I'm already working with the client. She's this sweet 92-year-old lady that is as sharp as I am. And we talk about Ayurveda and we talk about anything, and we get on Zoom and we do these images, and she's just beautiful. Anyways, working with her and launching my business, continuing my coaching practice, and just really developing, this is just a start for me. I'm developing something bigger than I am, honestly, I believe. And I want to put my whole heart, soul, and body into it. So I'm kind of waiting until I'm completely done with my work. And I'm just kind of taking in all of the information that I can for now, and developing my secret sauce next year. So I'm very, very excited about that. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned, y'all.
We are very excited for you too.
Thank you, Josie.
I know this is
And
going.
I can't wait to start, sharing this with you guys as well. I want to bring more eidetic images into our space. I think you guys are gonna like it.
Love it already.
I can't wait to actually go through it, to actually be in the flow of that, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's one thing we're hearing about it, but to actually experience it.
Psychology was always my favorite pre-med class, and then I also was, did art. So just seeing that combine, it's pretty cool. It's and spirituality and all of it.
Yeah.
When I started college, psychology was actually my major.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wanted to get into psychology. That was actually one of my favorite subjects. But then my parents told me, "Oh, you're not going to make any money in psychology." So there you go.
The only reason why my parents were okay with me doing fine arts is because I was doing pre-med with it. Yeah.
I think it's a huge misconception of the modern world that psychology is, it's nothing. It's not to be taken seriously even, while if you think about it, it really actually is the first step in everything. Like once you experience psychosomatic issues to the point that I have, you trust your mind more than, not that you trust your mind, but you know that your mind is more powerful than your body. And especially the subconscious mind, it's incredible, and it's so much stronger than you could even fathom. I think that's what really amazes me.
I think it's embraced more and welcomed more now than back then. Yeah, with all the issues going on in society, and I feel like this is the foundation, and there's a need for this, definitely.
Absolutely.
This makes me really question, Raquel, because I believe a lot of things have to deal with psychology, but when you are learning about eidetics, is psychology a lot of that too, a lot of that work?
Absolutely. So it's basically if you think about it as a spin on psychology, the things that they said they couldn't do, he's like, okay, well, what if you try this? Has anyone really, like, I feel like that's what he did. All he did was like, well, have you tried this? Like, this is what hooked me. Okay, let me tell you a little bit of this little snippet that I read in his book, Psychi. He was in his rounds when he was in school or some doctorate or whatever, and he was in a psychiatric hospital. And they were talking about this patient who was catatonic, and his arm was like this, just up all the time. He didn't react to anything. He didn't respond. He was completely incommunicative. He just stayed in that position all the time. And Dr. Akhtar decided to try something with this man. And he came to this man's ear, and he started whispering things about his parents having sexual relations under the moonlight, to the point that he bothered this man enough that he turned his face. So he went to the other side and he continued. He did that until the man actually spoke to get him away from him.
Yeah.
He hadn't
very interesting.
Years. He hadn't spoken in years. He broke his catatonic. Something so simple. Who wants to hear about their parents?
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I was like, how? I mean, it's brilliant, but it's also hysterical that he got the reaction from him by hearing about his parents having sex.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and I get that. You think about anybody and you think of your parent, you're like, I know. You just want to like, claw out your eyeballs at the thought of ever seeing your parents have sex. And that's what got this man to move. That's
incredible.
Yeah.
It's poetic, I think. I love it.
And you know what? This man is a poet. This man was a poet. He's passed now, but half of his images no, all of his images, all of his books are simple poetry. And he takes it to the point of being prophetic. It's incredible. And he ignored all of the labels, all of the preconceptions that psychology had. And he went deep into his knowing, what he knew and what he was here to channel from above. That's the only way that I have to explain. And I think that's the reason why I feel so strongly about it, because there's no, like, I feel like it's such incredible work. It should be out there. People should be pioneering in this. It should be like, go, go, go. Instead, the people that are training me are getting ready to retire. And I'm like, wait a second. Like, no, like they don't print his books anymore. Like, I've been trying to get this one book forever. You can't find it. And I'm just like, I have this incredible feeling that kind of takes over my soul sometimes, that I have to keep his work alive. I have to.
Wow.
That's what I have to do. Maybe, else is going to do it. I'll do it. Fine. You know?
Yeah, maybe you'll teach more people in the future, and it will become much bigger.
Yeah, I think so.
I just love how much you light up when you talk about this, Raquel. Like, clearly you are on the right path, following your dharma, your purpose.
Thank you.
Sounds like your passion project.
Yes, absolutely.
One of your many passion projects.
Yeah, but
So
this is certainly my deepest passion, for sure.
It's just so interesting how deep it goes and how incredibly powerful. You said that it's more than the body, but I think it's all connected, right? The body, the mind, the subconscious, our souls. And like when we just go in those just deep studies of all of it and see how it all just comes together, it's just incredible.
Absolutely. And it works directly with like what we hear all the time, that like you have everything you need inside of you. That's the basic principle. You have all of these images. You have literally everything. Every answer you need is within yourself. And these images, what they do is they teach you to go beyond your thinking mind and to reach really what is inside of you, your true self, really, your true essence.
We are the universe.
We are the universe.
And we're here. We've all these years of life of people who have come and gone, and we are here right now in this very moment.
And
that's all the universe has manifested itself to right now.
Not only that, we found each other. We come from some different places. Like we are all over this country. We are all different ages, all different backgrounds, every single possible way. And we somehow came together to complete each other in the most beautiful way possible. And I couldn't be happier.
Oh, yes. So true.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Raquel, for, opening up your soul, opening up your heart, and sharing your light with all of us.
Thank you, ladies, for all of the kind words and the questions, the insightfulness, and just being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So where can our listeners find you?
They can find me on Instagram for now. I haven't quite built my website yet. That will be coming soon. They can find me at my handle. You can see it on the screen if you're watching the video. I am .delua.com.
And we'll have it in the show notes as well.
Absolutely.
Awesome. And if you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe. Everything will be in the show notes. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you, ladies, for another amazing Sydney cut.
Yeah, because we're gonna have that share thing in the outro. Anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
That either.
So we don't need to. Oh, which part? The share, like, share, subscribe. Oh, okay.
That's perfect.
Okay.
I just also added my name. Damn. Fix this.
All right. So we hope that you tune in for our next episode, and as always, continue to shine your light, and we hope that you find what makes your soul flow. Till next time.
Bye.
Bye.
God, I feel on fire right now.
So flow.